What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone, a live show. And I was just saying off camera to Imran that football is finally back, and he said we will see, and we will see if it's a good thing that football is back on Sunday. But in general, football is back. We are back. We play Como on Sunday, the first of our three away games in 1 week. Then it's Real Madrid on Wednesday and Lazio again away on Sunday. So it could be a defining week, not maybe, for Tudor getting sacked, yes or no, but for changes we might see or forced changes that he might do after this week. But first off, I already asked offline, but online, Imran, how are you doing?
Great. It's been really a tough 2 weeks, like too many news, bad news, a lot. But yeah, we now we are waiting for Sunday and what will happen there.
Yeah, bad. I think the first international break was I believe the first time, the first international break in I don't know 3 years where there was absolutely no news, like no good news, no bad news, just nothing, and I enjoyed that. And right now it feels like doomsday, obviously because of the Bremer situation. Well, let's pick off of the Bremer situation first because it happened. I didn't do many lives because of the international break. There's little to talk about that Bremer news. But Bremer is out. He got surgery. It was successful. It will be around 8 to 10 weeks. When the injury came out, I said January. Let's assume he's out until 26, and then we will need to wait and see in which capacity he comes back. So my question to you is, Imran, are you shocked that this happened? And two, how bad of a situation is this for Tudor? And how bad of a situation is this for the club that, well, it was predictable, I believe, and we're in this situation now?
Well, in terms of being shocked, I don't know because we lived the same last season. They Gabal and Bremer they were injured at the same month, so it just we are reliving the moment again with a different coach and some different players. It's too much, I believe, for Juventus because we've been living these moments like in the last 4 years. We lived these moments too much. I think it's bad luck, but it's not only bad luck. I believe there is something wrong in the way we train. There should be something wrong there because we live the same situations. Players are getting injured, like in the last 4 years, really, we saw many players being injured in the start of the season. So we should do something about that. And Bremer, when I read the news, I was shocked to be honest because a player that last season he missed the whole season and he came back in January and we didn't want to play him in the World Cup because he wasn't ready because we didn't want to risk. And then the season starts and we didn't really risk. We maybe we could have risked against Dortmund, but it is what it is. And now you lose him again for another season. But I really don't know what to say because you don't have players that can replace him, and you can't go on the market to buy a very strong defender. So I think now we are. It's about Rugani today. If Rugani is doing good, he will save us. If not, we are doomed, and the season is already over, and we will go back to just like competing for top four. I think.
I mean, you brought up Rugani, and I talked about it in the summer, and I was like, I know the situation of the club with Cabal and Bremer and the way the club structured, or built their squad for the season. And when people were like, "Oh, you're getting angry for Rugani," and I like, this is not Rugani's fault, by the way, but like, why are you angry for him to stay on this team? And I was like, because I know he's gonna play too many games, not by choice, but forced. And when he plays too many games, his limitations will show and it will limit us for the season. And we are in this situation right now. We are in this situation where I'm looking at it. I'm like, we're heading towards seeing too much of Rugani, too much of Gatti, or the combination of them both, or the combination of Kelly and whatever, etc. And it's not a good combination. I listened to part of the Kelly podcast, and he couldn't believe that Juve called him. By the way, like he couldn't believe it, and to this day, I still cannot believe it. But it is what it is. The combination of all of that all summer, I was like, it's heading towards a disaster scenario the moment Bremer picks up anything, and that like the possibility of Bremer picking up anything, maybe not this to this extent, but just anything, and missing 1 week, and 1 week missing 1 week is 3 games. It could be 3 away games. It's worse right now, but that could be enough to derail a season, in my opinion. You know, I was predicting, and I was scared for that situation because it was a very realistic situation. That's what I'm trying to say. It was extremely realistic for it to happen. And right now we're in that situation, and to make it worse, we're leaking goals. Like we're leaking goals. The only way we didn't leak goals against Milan was because it was because of Pulisic and Leao. That's it. Other than that, we would have leaked goals because they had clear cut open chances, like not half chances, like chances you look at and you're like, how did you miss them? Not once, but 3 times. You know, that's the only reason we didn't concede that game. It wasn't that we had a strong defensive performance, in my opinion, because a strong defensive performance, you don't give up clear cut open chances 3 times or 4 times, So all of that makes it extremely worrying, considering that you have 3 away games, and one of them is Real Madrid away as well. But like you said, you cannot fix it, And even in January, I have no idea how you can fix it. If the links are Skriniar, then you're not going to fix it, and you might actually make it worse than what it already is. You're just adding players for the sake of adding players. I don't believe the club is going to do that, but to paint a picture, we got Kelly last January. Like those are the players you can get in January, and that's it. So you cannot fix it. You're right. We're in this situation right now, and Rugani can do a job. Well, now it's time to prove me wrong and do the job, whatever the job is required you to do. So it's a tough situation. Do you feel bad for Tudor? Do you feel bad for Tudor for this to
Yes, of
happen
course.
as well?
Of course, I feel. Yeah, but look, we had how many defenders we had in the start of season? It was uh, 2 players on the right, Kalu Lugatti. It was 2 players in the middle, Bremer Rugani, and it was 2 players on the left, Kelly Kabar. Today, you have 4 defenders out of 6 that was already planned in the start of season. So, of course, I feel bad for him. And the problem is, the formation, the 3-man defense, it was supposed to be with 6 defenders. Today you have 4, so he's forced to go back to a 4-man defense. But he didn't retrain on that. He needs time to work on a 4-man defense because he planned the 3-man defense, but now you only have 4 defenders, and there is no way that you continue with 3-man defense with only 4 defenders. And if you do, then you will force Kelly to play every single game on the left because he's the only defender that can play on the left. So expect some injuries for Kelly as well. And then on the right, you are now putting Kalulu as a right wing back. So there is only one right defender, Gatti, and then in the center there is only Rugani. So there is no way you continue with a 3-man defense. And even the defensive structure of Juventus with the midfield, Cambiaso, that is not really helping. Joao Mario, that we saw defensively, is not the best. And then Thuram, and look at Thuram, especially Thuram, he was really tired in the last games, and he doesn't really give that plus that he usually does. But I think, of course, I feel sad for Tudor because, and not even Tudor, even Motta last season, it's difficult when you have these injuries. It's really difficult to manage, and we are not a team like Chelsea or like Liverpool that they have like eight players and they have no problem with going on the market buying another defender. No, at Juventus it's difficult. we don't have the money to go and to sign a defender. So you need to deal with the situation you have. And even if you go to the market in January, it's not that you will buy, a Van Dijk or a Chiellini. You will go and you will buy a Kelly or someone like this. So of course I feel bad for Tudor, but I think that great coaches, they show themselves in this kind of situation, being able to solve this situation. Of course, we are not demanding to uh, do something crazy and to fight for Serie A, especially after the injuries, but we are demanding to find a kind of a solution so that you can avoid losing the team and already labeling the season uh, being over already in October. So I hope that he can be smart about it, try to change the formation. Why not going back to a four-man defense can be an option because you don't have players there. So yeah, I feel sorry for him, but I think he needs to find a solution.
So you think do you think he's gonna change it, the back three? Because right now, like if he does it right now, I think people will look at it and be like, "Oh, you're forced. It's not by choice. It's because you're forced." But if he doesn't do that, it becomes weird, right? Because
Yeah,
I'm not saying
yes, yes.
that back three is working, but you're playing all your center backs. One
Yeah,
injury and you
that's
have nobody.
yeah.
Like it's
This is
gone.
what I said. Yeah.
Like if you play Rugani, Kelly, Gatti, and Kalulu as a wing back, well, that's it. That's it.
And the funny thing is, the player that was supposed to join the defensive line, Pedro Felipe, is injured. So it's really funny, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was going to play, but he will be a backup option. Yeah, but I mean, right now, like if he doesn't change anything, he's risking to lose like all of them. Like Kalulu can pick a muscle injury, and somebody at the back can injure. It can be injured. Like it can happen in one game, and then what? You have two players, two center backs. I don't know, man. It's an odd situation, but I think he will be forced into do something. I don't think he's going to do that against Como. I don't even think he's going to do that against Real Madrid, but I think he will be forced, in the next couple of weeks, to do that just by default.
I
Um,
should.
okay, we talked about that. Let's move on to the title of the show. Get them going. That's also part of change. How are we going to get that front line going? Um, we have strikers that all need different things. What I believe is, I think Vlahovic and David behind him can work in a two up top. I don't think Openda and Jonathan David can work. I don't think Openda and Vlahovic can work. I think Openda needs a transition, and if not transition, at least a player like Yildiz, through the middle, but in a 3-5-2, that's not really possible, is it? Or a player or a profile like Atsic, but I don't think he's ready to do that on a consistent basis. So what is the solution up front? Because if he doesn't get it right, if he doesn't get it going, it will cost him his job at one point because you will not score enough goals. They will all struggle. You won't find a solution. And at one point, the club will be like, okay, this is insane. Like, we need to do something. And right now, I don't think he's even close to finding a solution, like Del Piero said. Del Piero said, like, he doesn't know what he needs to do with the players he has. So, what do you think is the solution to get any of them going? Because I've watched the highlights of extended highlights of Jonathan David away to Canada. I forget about the opponents they play, just how he looks and links up with players. It's watching a completely different player, for example. Not a Panda because he got benched, but still, what do you think the solution is? Who should he pick? Like, how are you going to get this going?
I think before looking into the best combination, first of all, we need to recuperate all the players because we must remember that Zegrova is not ready to play yet, and Yildiz, as we saw in the last games, was very tired. And Openda that just arrived, is the game against Inter was his first game with Juve. Just he arrived like 5 days before that game, so we need to regain all the players as 100%, and then we find the best combination. I believe today the number nine is secured for David because you must give him continuity. The number nine needs continuity. You can't just keep changing every single game. And the question is, who will play behind him? I think Yildiz is the only option, and it's not that we have many. It's Yildiz. It's the only one that can play on the left. And the only fight is between Zegrova and Conceição. But today Conceição is winning. So for me, I don't really see a big problem there because looking at the options that we have, I think that David is starter, Conceição is the starter on the right, and then you have Yildiz. And then if you can recuperate Zegrova and Openda, maybe it will cause you a problem. But I think today we really don't. I don't see a problem today. And in the last games, the players they looked very tired. The way we press is really unstructured. We just it's not an unorganized way. It's not like Liverpool or a team that knows how to press. No, for us, it's either one player is pressing, the others they don't follow, or it's not organized at all. So we lose a lot of energy, but we don't even create enough. I believe that with the defensive problem that we have, we need to stop that kind of play, that pressing football. I think it needs to be stopped because it's either you do it in a perfect way or don't do it because it won't work and you will just waste energy and you don't have many options. So I believe that Tudor he needs to look at his game. He needs to change some aspects of his game because continuing like this, you will just you will lose a lot of points, and at the end you will lose the job.
Do you think, because you said like David has started the oldest Conceição, do you think that works? You David with those two? Because I don't think I don't think that's ideal for Jonathan David. I think he will
Well,
struggle to score goals. I think he will struggle to get involved, like not score goals, to get involved for 90 minutes in a game when you play with Yildiz and Conceição out wide. I think he will actually struggle. He will get
well,
lost within 90 minutes of a game, in my opinion.
if David struggles, then I don't know what about Vlahovic. Like David is technically better than Vlahovic. Vlahovic he has
He
that
is.
kind of physical. Yes, yes.
He is.
So
He
if
is. But
David,
I think he needs somebody closer to him, David. I don't think he's when we signed him, like he's our number nine. I don't see him as a solo number nine like that. I think he needs somebody close to him. That's how I'm looking at it.
yes, you need to ask but let's not forget that David he just arrived. It's not that he played there for 1 year. He needs to get that chemistry going with Conceição and Yildiz. And to get that chemistry, you need time and you need to play many games. So that's why I said in the beginning that you need to give continuity to David. It's not because he missed some chances in the last games that you bench him. No, he must receive consistency. He must play the next games, and I think that he's really a player of quality. And I read some comments from some Lille fans, and they I read that they said David in the start of season is really bad. Every single year in the start of the season, he's not a player that shows you good things. No, but we need to when he reaches November and December, he starts delivering. It's been the same situation in all his years at Lille. When it comes to November, December, he's like prime R9 or something like this. So I hope that this can happen. But yes, we are far from November today. But let's hope that giving him continuity will make him reach his level. And I think that Openda is really far from being a starter. And I don't believe that Openda is really the number nine that Juventus needs, especially in a Serie A that is very close. Like, what should Openda give you against a Como that will defend with 10 men? It's like I don't really know. I don't understand the point of signing the player, but today it's only Vlahovic and David are competing for that ninth spot.
James is saying that he watched Oh my God, what's happening with my camera? James said, I watched both Canada games. I didn't see much from David. I saw a player who has lost some confidence, and that's partly Tudor's fault. I'm going to take your word on it because I didn't watch full 90 minutes. Like, I didn't. I watched, I think, like an 18-minute, 90-minute extended highlight video from Jonathan David. And I compared to what I see from Juve, and he was getting more involved. You know what I saw from him at Lille. That's why I believe he needs somebody close to him. That's what I I believe. But I do agree with the point you made about continuity. Whoever you play, it needs like Vlahovic, then Openda, then David, then Openda again, then Vlahovic 2 games. Then like it's crazy. Like that's crazy work. It's not gonna work. The only way you can do that if you had these players for about 2-3 years, then you switch it around and you have the same coach. You basically have the same team. You can do whatever you want. But right now, it feels like he's trying things out, but absolutely nothing is working. Like the best version of a striker we've seen is Vlahovic, and it's off the bench. Not him as a starter, it's off the bench, you know? And that's not a tactic. That's just because the games are getting a bit open and whatever, you know? That's it. Other than that, from the start, I've not seen anything good from any number 9 we've started this season. Like nothing. Like absolutely nothing. So that is a massive worry. So he doesn't have that right formula. Somebody said Conceição needs to play because defensively he works extremely hard, and that's why I think he's a starter, because defensively he does offer quite a lot, in my opinion. So I do agree with that as well. Let me see. We made David jump in the air in one game more than his entire career. Leo, poor guy, didn't know how he would be playing volleyball with us. November, December, unfortunately, it's too late for Tudor. He will be sacked by then. Well, it's not too late for for David and us, I guess. Kudos to the heroes who are not from Canada and watch the Canada games just for David. I didn't. I watched extended highlights, by the way. I didn't. I don't even know who they were playing. Was one game Colombia? I'm not even sure. Let me see. How confident are you guys regarding Yildiz contract renewal? Well, really quickly, because the chat is asking it. Right now, extremely confident, because I don't see how you mess this one up. It cannot get any easier than this. And if you mess this up, just throw away the club, because like what is the point of running this club again? You know, it makes like you cannot do that, because if you do that, you need to leave as a management, as a club. Like just stop it, because this is so easy. He wants to stay. I mean, it cannot be more clear and easy than this. It won't get easier and clearer than this. I'm sorry. Like, so I don't know, are you confident? Are you worried right now?
Well, you got the player from Bayern because he didn't renew the contract with Bayern. So imagine doing the same mistake and letting him leave for another team. I think the renewal of Yildiz should arrive in the next month, because the player, he wants to stay. Juventus wants the player to stay, and from what I read in the media, I believe that the difference is not really high. They are just waiting for the formalization of the contract. I think it will get done in the next month.
I will start to worry if it's April and May. Then I'm like, okay, you're messing it up. But you cannot like if you don't if you manage to mess up this deal, then you're gonna manage to mess up every other deal from that point on. Like,
Well, let's not forget that Juventus is changing the management at this in this week. Like Comole will be a new CEO, so it will take a bit of time, I think.
yeah, but like he wants to stay. Like, I mean, like it cannot be like it cannot be simpler than this. Like I'm sorry. Like it won't get easier than this. Like the only deal easier is players who know they're not good enough and you offer him a new money. Rugani, Kostic, you offer him a new deal, like that's easy, slam dunk. They will sign it immediately because they're like, yeah, like free money, like for doing nothing basically and having low expectations from me. So you cannot mess this up, you know. image wise and future wise of this club. Like if you lose a player like Yildiz who wants to be here, then what's the point of actually doing this? All of this, like it makes zero sense. Um, Somebody's hating on Komoli as Sky. Like I cannot judge him. He made some odd decisions. He made decisions I like. I'm not gonna talk about, or like I'm not gonna, how do you say that, make up a balance at this moment in time. It's way too soon. It's way too soon to do that, in my opinion. Um, I'm confident, but this management has given me no hope. They left that defense blank all summer. That alone gives me doubts. Yeah, but that was a different type of scenario, in my opinion. That's about getting players you don't have. You have Yildiz right now. Like, like you have him at the club. Like it's not you need to get Yildiz. You have him. So makes it easier, in my opinion. Should make it easier, in my opinion. Remember, Colomani wanted to stay, Conte wanted to come, then Komoli happens. Yeah, but we didn't have Colomani. He wasn't our player. We needed to pay. We have Yildiz, and he has a contract with this club as well. That's one. And Conte, we didn't have Conte. Like he wasn't on it. Like that's a different scenario. You needed to get these guys. You have Yildiz at the club, and he wants to stay. Yes, Colomani wanted to stay, but we didn't have him. Like it wasn't about a new contract. It was paying PSG, and with Conte, the same scenario. Let me see. Do you believe the Tonali news from Moreto, or would you rather believe the Baudi? I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm sorry. Leo news from Nikoshira. Do I believe we're interested? We want to sign, or we love to sign Tonali? Yeah, I mean, like easy to believe. It's like, do you believe the club wants to sign Mbappe or wants Mbappe? Yeah, like easy to believe that story is out there, but realistic? No, absolutely not realistic.
He mentioned Boaddi. I think Boaddi is a player that is today is evaluated at about like 50 million, and if he will continue in the same levels, like just forget about it, he will go to 80 million easily by the summer. So I think he will be a target for the Premier League clubs or maybe Real Madrid or Barcelona. But for Juve, it's either you present him a very strong project to convince him, or you will. The other teams will offer more salary and they will take him.
Yeah. If we don't qualify for the Champions League next season and an offer of 100 million arrives, I think the club will sell him. Why is Juve investigated again by the UEFA? That's my daily tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I explained it like it got a complete buzz and it got completely fake out. It is completely different than what it is for now. Yeah, that's that. I don't really want to talk about transfers right now. Like, he's a Juve fan, is somebody saying. I don't. I have actually no idea. Could be right, but that means, well, I'm gonna say it doesn't mean nothing, but it doesn't really mean. Actually, it amazes me that 18-year-olds, non-Italian, are still Juve fans at this, like at this point. It does, because we've been bad for a couple of seasons. That means he was watching Juve when he was 8. When we were playing Champions League finals, etc. So the last crop of of youngsters, I guess, who are supporting Juve. But actually, a lot of people, like a lot of kids, still support Juve, like non-Italians. A lot of do, and at one point that's gonna stop if you're not start winning again. Like it is what is nature, I don't know how you became a Juve fan. Maybe you can tell me, like, how did you became a Juve? Was it by chance, like, or like did you watch us and you're like, that's the club I want to support?
Well, I remember that when Juventus was winning like every single week, I think it was 2016, and like I didn't really know but that much about Juventus, but I was checking their games like every single week. They are winning 4-2, 4-1, 3-2. Like they are winning every single week. They don't lose. So I said, this is really a strong team. Like, what team is this? And then I started playing those soccer games on the phone when you have Juventus, and I was choosing Juventus. I really didn't know the team, but because that team was winning, I got introduced to the team, and then I started. I said one day, "Oh, let's watch a game of this club," and then I don't know what happened, and I become a Juventino.
You see, like that's for a lot of fans, like overseas, in Italy, it's probably different. Like you just grow up with it. I grew up with it, but for a lot of people, it's like that. You start watching football, and that's why City has more fans right now, or like it's growing the fan because they're winning stuff. Nobody wakes up and like I'm supporting City unless you grew up in a in a household of City fans. But that goes away, like you said. If like no no kid is now turning on Juve games. It's just not happening. Like by choice. It's not happening, you know? Um so again, if he's a Juve fan, nice, but then it's probably the last crop at this moment in time. Um See, people are saying from your dad, like that's probably most big part of the fan base as well. When a team isn't looking good, fans have only transfers to look forward to, and they lean on that. That's normal. um I mean, yeah, that's also correct. I think I started watching Juve from birth because I grew up knowing only Juve until I started growing up to understand. But yeah, same for me. That's how it is. And again, because the fan base is this big, it will keep big. It will stay big because a lot of fans, a lot of people will have kids, etc., and they grow up supporting Juve, like most of them. But new fans, you like not growing up fans, like you, for example, is because of winning. That's how it is. That's how football, like in America, it's even crazier. It's more extreme to that extent. But over here, it's the same thing. I became a Juve fan because Juve signed Zlatan and Cannavaro. So there you go. Some people,
Very old.
choose that route. That's a very long time ago. But still, that's over 20 years right now, or just about 20 years, almost. So everyone has his different reason. That's the point somebody brought up. With signing a player. Like I know fans of this club right now who didn't support Juve until Ronaldo joined. They supported Ronaldo. That's it. They followed Ronaldo, and now they follow you. They don't follow Real Madrid. They stick to following Juve because they love what the club is, whatever. That happens as well. They follow a player and they stick with the club they like the most at the time, which might be shocking that they didn't stick with Real Madrid. But I actually know people who watch football for fun, but follow Ronaldo. And at one point now they're Juve fans. They watch Juve games week in, week out. I feel sorry for them at this stage, but that's one way to become a fan as well. Um, there's a picture of him wearing two blue away jersey, pointing at the badge. Oh, you're talking. Wait, I
But
think you're guessing the game. Um, we have a Juve fan based here in LA. I think you mean Juve fan club, right? I think that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fan clubs as well across the world, but that's a different, I think, topic and discussion. But it comes into play with our situation right now. That if you don't win, yeah, you don't grow your fan base. Like it is what it is, and people who are not that much invested into it also start losing a bit of interest, in my opinion. Oh, he's talking about the Lille player. I didn't see the picture. I didn't see the
yeah,
picture.
I
But
saw the
the
picture.
Lake had one as well. So I mean, that doesn't really mean he's watching. Like probably the Lake also has pictures wearing a Barca jersey, a Real Madrid jersey, a Chelsea jersey. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Somebody's saying he started to support Juve since the days of Michel Platini. I wasn't even born, but
yeah, me too.
here we go. Here we go. Good days, I'm assuming. Um, Alexander saying I was 7 years old. My first game I watched that was my first game. I became a fan. It was UEFA Cup final against Dortmund, and my inspiration was to become a Juve fan. Was Roberto Baggio. I grew up to know Juve winning, and it's wild for me to see us not win. Yeah, I mean, same, same. And actually, a lot of the online fan base became a fan in this period, 2000, like when we started dominating in Italy. And they're all over the place right now because they've not seen the club in a bad. I've seen the club in a worse situation. I've seen them play Serie B football, and finishing seventh, excuse me, for 2 seasons. But even then, afterwards, we won the league. Yeah, I mean it got worse, but 7-7, and then we won the league. But I've seen worse. So when I talk about things, and people have seen even more than me, like the previous guy watched Platini at the club. I've seen worse, so I can talk about certain expectations and standards the club should uphold. Like, as a fan base, we should uphold, not the club as well, but as a fan base, we should uphold. That's when I talk about things, and people are like, "Oh, you're negative, you're hated." No, man, this club was and is great. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world that got associated and still to winning, but for some reason, when we're not winning for 5-6 seasons, I need to be optimistic. When it's clear that we're not close to winning, we're not even close to competing the last couple of years. There's nothing to do with optimistic and pessimistic. It's about having just the standards of this club is about winning, and we're not even close to winning. And you can talk about management and players and etc. But the moment you bring that up, people are like, "Oh my god, you're hating on the players, etc." Yeah, these players are not good enough. Otherwise, we would be winning. The coaching has not been good enough. Otherwise, we would be winning. The management has not been good enough. Otherwise, we would be winning. It's very black and white in my opinion in sport. If you're not winning for 5 years, a lot of things are bad. It's not with luck or no luck. A lot of things are bad at the club, and it has been bad. It's as simple as that. The Lick would have stayed if we were good. Maybe, yeah. Will Leo give us a discount because he's a Juve fan? No. I became a Juve fan in 2021 and never saw us win big. Am I the curse?
Maybe.
I want to say yes, change the club. It would make my life easier, but you're not the curse. I came from the Ronaldo transfer, not a Ronaldo fan, though. I'm a Canadian with Italian heritage, always liked football, but didn't know we could stream football in Canada. Well, that's a completely different reason I never heard of. So that's that's cool to hear. I've only read the things once. I've only read that things was once bad. I cried and was depressed a few seasons ago, and my dad told me that's normal, that we'll win again. Yeah, it cycles, but right now it feels like the cycle is a bit broken. I'm a Juve fan through and through. No player fan here. My father loves Shire and Tardelli. I like some past players, but I'm not a player fan. Same, I mean, players go, I support the club. I've watched Del Piero play, and I've watched Milik play for us. Just to put it into perspective. I've watched Chiellini defend for us, and I've watched Diallo try to attempt defending for us. I didn't leave the club, but there were good reasons to leave the club. Rank this current cycle among the worst you have seen. Among the worst I've seen.
Third.
For I mean, oh, I think it's the worst. I'll now explain why. Because I've watched the City B part. I can recall the City B part. I can recall the post City B part, like coming up, actually playing well, and finishing in good positions coming from City B, and then the seventh place with Zaccaroni and Ferreira, like all these Ferrara, excuse me, all these weird things that we did back then, and this one. I think this is worse for the simple reason of we came from City B and we were in a bad position. We were in an unbelievable position. 9 wins in a we had total domination. Total domination. Nobody could touch us. And look where we ended up in about, it's now 5-6 years, but 2-3 years. Look where we ended up in about 2-3 years. the drop off from the strong position you had is unbelievable. Like it's unbelievable. The drop off is insane. Is insane. And it's because of our own doing. Not because somebody else. It's because of us. Because of the bad decisions we made. And that's why I think it's the worst period, in my opinion, I've witnessed. So that's that. Even though obviously finishing seven, playing Serie B is worse, but we were forced in those situations. Right now, we created that on his own. We created that on his own. On his own. We're gonna get back to being one of the best at some point because I'd like to think it's still in our DNA, but it's gonna take a while, I'm afraid. Yeah, I mean, you just need to hope, I guess, because every team has cycles, and throughout our history, we had cycles where we didn't win. But I think this, I'm not sure, is this our longest cycle of not winning? We're on pace for it because 2006 until 2011-12 is about the same period.
I believe from 85 to 91 was a really long one.
That's 6 years as well.
Yeah.
So it's about that period, yeah. Dan, do you think this is the worst Juve in history with everything into account? I'm not so sure about that. Maybe we need to ask the Platini guy. The worst Juve was definitely Del Neri, so he has that opinion. And that was a bad Juve, but we were forced in that situation because of the Serie B, etc., and all these shocking implications. We didn't came from that position and then dropped off just purely based on bad decision. Winning 9 to this is crazy to me. Okay, final question before we wrap it up, or final topic before we will wrap it up. We play Como on Sunday, so back to now. We play Como on Sunday, away from home, early kickoff, always not fun on a Sunday. I don't know who came up with that idea, but it's a horrible idea. Not easy. Como are a good team, a weird team, because they drop points against some teams they probably should be beating, and then they pick up points to teams where they maybe should be dropping points. So that tells you a lot. They have technical players. Actually, they have a technical squad, the way they play. They have speed. They can put us in trouble. They can put any team in trouble. I'm not a fan of the pitch they play on. It feels like short, like it's odd. It's an odd type of game. They will come for us because they're only 3 points off us, by the way. Like the fantastic start we have, they have 9, we have 12 points. It's the first away game of the 3 in 7 days, and it's a game that we should obviously win to have that good feel factor back again. Start after 4 or 5 draws in a row. I'm not even sure what it was right now. I think it's 5, right?
Yes,
or
5.
4, 5.
5.
It's insane. It's insane. It's like it's probably even worse than Malta at this point when it comes to draws. But what are your expectations, feeling about that game? What do you expect from that game?
I think it's the most difficult game to prepare out of the 3 ones. Against Madrid, like you don't need to prepare anything. It's Madrid. The players are already in the mood, and the same against Lazio. You're going to Roma, and these games you don't really need to prepare anything. But the one against Como is very difficult. First of all, because Bremer injury was, and even Pinsoglio injury, they were really big hits in the international break. So I think that the moral is a bit down, and even some players in the international break, like Miners, that went to Netherlands and he didn't play a single second. So the moral is a bit down. And against a team of Como that will be really pumped up to play against Juve and to win against Juve, I think it's a very, very difficult game to prepare because you are missing some players. You need to make some changes. And will Tudor make the changes or not? Because Goma is a very difficult team, a team that will press, that will try to take the ball possession, and a team that will try to put on a show in Sunday. So let's hope that we can recover our players mentally first, and then let's see if they can give us a 90 minutes, at least like Yildiz and Turam and like Kalulu. We need, and Conceição, we need these players at least at 100%, and let's hope that we can win because we must win. Don't forget, like 5 draws, you must win against Como, even if it's. I think for me, it's the most difficult game to prepare.
I agree. I kind of agree. Real Madrid, like it is what it is. Marseille played a competitive game out there. It can go both ways. You can look decent, or you can actually getting smoked. But that's that. But also important because we only have 2 points in the Champions League, and we should have had at least four by now. So that's not like it can be a very sticky situation, in the Champions League, and in the league, like you said, coming back, and then Lazio away. You need to have some good feel factor again, but it won't be easy because Como, they will play their own game because yeah, everybody does against us, and why shouldn't they? So I do agree with that. Yeah, goalbinders not good. And even Zegrova went to the Kosovo national team and played like total of 23 minutes, like odd, not really useful for us as well. Kostic got an assist for Vlahovic's goal, maybe a positive. I think I didn't watch international football. I've heard, read, seen a little bit that Locatelli had a good game. So that's that. I'm not sure Cambiaso if he played well. I mean, it would be ideal if fewer people went to the international break, but that's the team we have right now. So I hope we're ready. I hope we're ready for it because we need it. Cope hitting and unexpected form will absolutely help us midfield. Yeah, and our mental health. What worries me against Como is early kickoff, UK time, 11:30 a.m. Yeah. Oh, it's even worse here from the UK. UK. Actually, it's like some people have it much worse in different part of the countries, but I'm not a fan of that as well. I expect a very boring game against Como. I don't see how this doesn't end as a draw. Fabregas, a possession-based coach. Como defensive isn't that good, though. Maybe we have a chance to win. Maybe the time of the game helps the boring aspect as well. Yeah, I cannot recall any game in Italy, Serie A, like exciting games at that kickoff, and it makes sense. Like it actually makes sense for the players as well. They wake up. It's different. Like because I know actually a professional football player doesn't play in Serie A, whatever, but he also played games where there were early kickoffs, and he said it's horrible. It's horrible because you prep in a complete different way. Usually, normal day kickoff, you wake up, you have breakfast, tonight you have a morning stretch, whatever, training a little bit, and you eat before the game. Right now, you need to eat slash eat breakfast to prep for the game. It's not fun. You need to wake up early. Like it's not fun. You feel it's early. Period. It's just not fun to play, and it has an effect on the performances. Not for us, like any team. Like it is what it is. So why do you do that? Well, international fans. That's that. Juve against Como will be highly entertaining and a lots of goal. Okay, so different opinions. Getting clean sheet in the next 3 games would be miraculous. Yes, it would. It doesn't matter who we are playing. After 5 draws, you need 2 wins. Fair point. I agree with that as well. Post World War II, it's 9 years without a title, 85, 96, and 94, 95. The record. Will this Juve break it if we don't win it this year? It's 6. We're on pace. We're on pace for it. So, schedule makers in shambles. The fuck were they thinking? Yeah, I'm not sure. 3 away game, like, and even the kickoff, but it's for TV. It's for international fan. Como Milan will be paid in Australia. I mean, good for Australian fans, but no, like it's not okay. I'm sorry. Like that's not football in my opinion. That's not okay. That's not how it should be working. I'm sorry. Like and actually I know people like Australian fans, group chats or whatever, and they actually agree. They're like, it shouldn't happen. Preseason fine, but the league should be in the country. Period. Also, you take home advantage away. Like it's like the the idea behind it is just purely money. That's it. That's it. But yeah, I mean, are you gonna find 80,000 fans to fill an Australian stadium for Milan Como like you did the San Siro? Doubt it. Really, really doubt it. But who am I to talk about it? I don't enjoy early kickoffs because it's like 3 a.m. over here. That's
3
yeah,
a.m.
that's insane. Why Como Milan, not Juve Inter? Juve Inter Milan? Because I think fans in Italy will absolutely riot. I'm actually shocked that they're still not rioting over the Milan game against Como. But you cannot take Juve Inter away out of Italy. Like that would be blasphemy. Like that would be insane. Imagine Juve Inter or Inter Juve being not played in Torino or Milan. That's that's unheard of. You cannot do that. Like that's just a no-go on so many different levels. Like no money in the world will make up for that disaster of a decision, in my opinion. Anyways, we're gonna wrap this one up, people. Tomorrow daily, and then Saturday preview, and then Sunday it's game day, early kickoff, as you know. So hopefully we can talk about a win on Monday during the podcast, and then we will see building up again towards Real Madrid what we can make of that. I don't know, potential horror show. Who knows? It's because most of the Serie A games are in empty stadiums, not the top games, not the games they're trying to bring away. Like that's like if they try to bring Como Sassuolo to Australia, fine, I guess, but nobody's gonna watch it in Australia as well. They're bringing the big clubs, and the big clubs are selling out their stadium. Juve, Milan, Inter, Napoli. It's about money. It's just purely about money. That's it. I thought all they care about was money. It's weird they went have. It's weird they went halfway. Oh, it is. It's about money. So an early rant on Saturday after the game. Well, it's on Sunday. Yeah. And to make it worse, I wake up very early because I have a game on Sunday as well. So I need to play my game, rush back home, and hopefully they win. That's that's the hope. Anyways, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Imran, thanks for joining. As always a pleasure speaking to you. Hopefully the next fan talk we have more people on, and it will be the day after we play Real Madrid, so a lot to talk about, good, positive, or bad. We will see them, but we will have a lot to talk about as well. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. Ciao.